Hey, Super Football fans. This is your Super Football Fans podcast. We got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Sooner Terry.
And we are coming at you from the Podcast Palace in beautiful, rain-drenched Norman, Oklahoma.
Where we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. You
always struggle with that
Yeah,
word.
that word's hard. I mean, you know, I got the hard part. You got the easy part.
That's the way I like it.
Thanks for tuning in to listen to today's podcast. We have a podcast for you. We have a very special guest coming along here shortly. Rob, do you want to tell them who it is?
It is none other than the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
That is correct. Toby is going to come on, and I believe we're going to talk a little bit men's golf, probably maybe even some women's golf.
We love golf.
Some baseball, some football.
We love baseball and football.
True. And maybe a little bit of softball. We're gonna get Plank on here soon, but it's Bedlam, so we got to talk a little bit of Bedlam.
And of course, what everybody's talking about today.
Yes, the ESPN Plus.
The
deal.
ESPN.
The ESPN, Rob. It always reminds me of you. I'm your daddy, Roberto, because that's you.
I seen you on the ESPN.
We can be like Tiger Woods and his daddy. Yep. But no, Toby's going to come on. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We are going to try to avoid talking about NIL because, in my opinion, the NIL is very close to ruining our game.
Said it on this podcast, a year ago now?
Yeah.
That NIL was going to ruin college football.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I am 100% for these kids getting paid for their image and likeness. You know what? If, Larry's motor cars on Porter Avenue here in Norman, wants to get Dylan Gabriel to take a picture and he put it on a billboard, that's fine and dandy. But, there's two Texas players now just signed deals with the Lamborghini dealership down there.
Right.
Another one came out today. And these deals are coming up into multi-million-dollar deals.
Right.
And these kids are 18. I love what prime time Deion Sanders said. He goes, "You're taking the hunger out of college football."
Absolutely.
These kids have a hunger to get there.
Yeah.
Now there's no hunger to get there.
No, if they knock off a couple million, really, if they're smart, they're pretty much set for life.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I could retire right now on $1 million.
Oh, I could.
So if you want to go ahead and give me that.
Yeah, if anybody wants to throw us $1 million.
But here's the thing, Terry, the arguments way back when was, well, yeah, the kids are getting, or the players, I don't want to call them kids. Some of them are, just short of an ogre, right? It was, they can't even take their girlfriend to the movies because they're, the stipend that they're getting is not that much. Okay. So we can do better.
Yeah.
But $2 million and a Lamborghini?
And it's going to cause friction. And you've already seen it with some schools, is these kids getting these deals and then these other players going, "Where's mine?" I would.
Oh, sure.
If I was an offensive lineman and my quarterback got $1 million NIL deal, I'd be like, excuse me, no, I don't want you to take me to a steak dinner and buy me headphones. I want $2 million. Or I want $500,000. Or guess what? You're going to see an awful lot of watch out blocks. You know what a watch out block is, don't you, Rob?
Watch out, here it comes. Absolutely. You can't tell me that stuff is not going to happen.
It will happen. This ain't the pros. These are kids. Like you said, some of them are shorter ogres, but these are kids. Yeah. And they think like that.
Well, and the other side of the coin, or it might be the same side of the coin, I'm not sure, Terry, which coin we're looking at here, but the schools that cannot afford to pay, they're going to continue to fall behind.
Right. And the only good thing that I might see coming out of this is I think this is going to bring out, which I think it should, a Power 5 division. It's going to split off the top schools, which I think it should because, what do we got, 117 teams in Division I football? And, no. Hey, let's get it out to the Power 5 and put a playoff system in place and go on. Let the Division I have their own new playoff system, but the Power 5s are the Power 5s. That's the only good thing I think. But basically, we don't have signing day anymore. It's college draft day.
It is, yeah, and really we've talked about it more than we should because it's just going to aggravate me. But you know what? I would say, and I don't know, I'm just shooting out a number. 75% of the kids that come to play college football are not interested in the education. Would you agree with that, or is that too high?
Maybe too high.
All right, let's just say 50-50.
50-50. Let's say 50%.
So 50% of them are not motivated to go to class. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, I can guarantee you that.
Now stick $2 million in his pocket. He's even less motivated to go to class.
Yeah, and I think I saw somewhere it was, I want to say, maybe it was Georgia or somebody that's part of their NIL deal. They get paid for grades.
So that's why I was bringing that up because I think Oklahoma's got something like that, and I know several other schools are starting to.
Yeah.
So I think that is part of the good thing that may come out of this.
Yeah. But on the other end, if you get a 4.0 average and you get $1 million, what's to say that you ain't going to your professors and going, "Yo, give me an A, I'll slip you a cool $100K, $100,000."
Well,
I would probably do that.
And you still have athletes that are taking, turn the gym lights off one-on-one.
Right.
So, obviously you better get an A in that.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have kids that, that graduate back in the 80s. You remember when out of OSU, the kid that graduated, Dexter Manley.
Yeah, Dexter Manley.
Still couldn't read after he got a degree from the University of Oklahoma State. So, I mean, I don't know that you're going to. The kids that want to learn are going to learn,
right? And
the other ones are going to find a way around it.
Yeah,
maybe, unless they're getting paid.
Yeah,
that's a whole different story. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah,
we need to find some positives on Terry because right now all I see is the negative.
Oh yeah, it's this rolls downhill. Okay, Oklahoma, has the greatest softball program in the country and has had for probably the last 8-9 years.
Mm-hmm.
They've dominated, and these ladies, they're not getting near.
Oh no!
They're not producing that revenue, but still, they're college athletes. It's across the board. You got to be fair across the board to the college athletes.
Well, you do, but then somebody's going to come up and say, and I love the ladies. Don't get me wrong. I love watching. It may be my second or third favorite sport here.
Yeah.
Obviously, I love it, but. The football team probably brought in more money at the spring game.
Oh yeah,
than they've brought in 2 years.
In 2 years, true.
Maybe more than that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, it's still again with amateur athletics, which college sports are supposed to be amateur.
Supposed to be. It's not anymore.
It has to be equal across the board. That a swimmer, a diver, gets the same ride as a football player, in which they do right now. You know what I mean? They get their college paid for, room and board, whatever goes along with that scholarship. Now you've got guys out here, and what I hope happens, with what happened with Spencer last year, that some of these companies that are what return on the investment are they getting? Yeah, I don't even know how that works. And you got to sit here and think, well, okay, this kid gets hurt halfway through the year.
Or benched.
Which
is what happened here.
Yeah. And I think Spencer's was just $800,000.
Yeah. Well, Terry, I'm not even going to try and say I can solve this because it can't be.
Yeah.
But I feel like a step towards in the right direction would be instead of the player, it's fine, give an NIL deal to the player.
Right.
But that player has got to spread that evenly across the team.
Right.
Oh, you brought us in $2 million deal that we're all going to split up?
Right.
Great.
That's what we do with the conferences.
Every play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if he's sitting back there, driving a Lamborghini with $2 million in the pocket.
Well, I think what we need to do here in the next couple of weeks is get our buddy Brandon Drum from 24/7, the recruiting guru, and let's have a NIL podcast going, to figure out how we're going to keep this sport together, because I just see it going downhill.
Yeah. Well, everybody's up, just like we see the Tebow out west. Mm-hmm. He's just poaching players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if he does it, then he's not the only one that's going to do it.
Everybody's going to figure it out.
Well, here's the thing: if your school has integrity and you want it to, I want Coach Brent Venables to have the highest integrity, right?
Right.
That's low class. That is,
Right.
You know, there's no character. You know, I think the nation now has lost respect for.
It's getting that way for the man whose name we're not supposed to speak.
For Voldemort.
So
yeah, I mean, I would lose respect for Brent Venables if he was trying to poach players, and I don't know that he may not be doing that, and I certainly hope he's not. But if I found out that he was doing the stuff that I'm pretty sure that Tebow's doing, I'd lose respect for him.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You know, he said, you know, he didn't go after any of, you know, what he did when he took the job was he called the players he recruited and told them to stick to their word and go to Clemson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, that's class.
That's classy.
You know, that, hey, you know, you promised it. It's a good institution. They're going to, only one that we know of.
That we know of, Jared Connect.
Yeah, Connect went, nope. I'm just going to show up on campus and enroll. Yeah, I'm going to enroll and, you know.
Nothing you can do about it then.
Yeah. So, but anyway, enough of that. You want to just go ahead and get Mr. Toby Rowland.
Well, we still got 12 minutes before he's going to be available.
What, did you call him and say, can we do anything early?
I just texted him.
Or did you?
No, I didn't. I do not have Toby Rowland.
Well, let's get Toby on here.
All right.
All right, Sooner fans, as promised, on the phone. Once again, proof that our life is better than y'all's. We have the voice of, let's get it all right, Rob, Oklahoma baseball, Oklahoma basketball, Oklahoma football.
You know, you could just say the Oklahoma Sooners.
Let's see. I'm getting all the sports. Badminton, wrestling. We got Toby Rowland on the podcast. Boomer, Toby.
Not softball.
Chris Plank does the softball.
If I tried it, he'll beat me up if we don't get that right.
Yeah.
How you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to talk to you guys again. I love talking to you guys.
Well, thank you very much. Did you survive all the weather, I guess?
We did. The first storm, which I guess was on Monday night, kind of had its eyes on us for a while, so we had the path cleared to the storm shelter just in case. But it fell apart, and we're safe. And certainly, I know all of us are thinking of the folks in Seminole who got hit by a couple of those guys last night. I hate to see what the town looks like. I think, fortunately, there was no loss of life and very little injury, so that's great. But still, it's that time of year, man, in the state of Oklahoma, where you wake up in the morning and you walk outside and you go, uh-oh.
Oof,
you know, that feeling in the air.
Well, I started to clear the path to our storm shelter. I call it our Frady hole. It's one of those things in the garage, you know. It's literally 6 foot deep. So I'm like, it's either a storm shelter or our grave, one of the two.
Oh, boy.
But I went out there and I just have some yard stuff sitting on. I was like, if it's bad enough, I'll just throw that stuff out of the way.
Hey, speaking of yard stuff, how fast have you got that bad boy mower up to?
I got to tell you, I have never enjoyed mowing my yard more than I do. I've never felt more cool when I feel like all the neighbors are watching me and just hating me because they're jealous of my lawnmower now. So, Extreme Outdoor Equipment. Thanks for letting me plug them. I didn't ask. Extreme Outdoor Equipment, bad boy mower. That's the best, man.
Did you get a bad boy mower girls calendar with it?
No, I did not.
That's a thing?
I think so, because I've seen some of their ads on.
Oh,
it's kind of like the what's the tool company that used to give out the tool calendars, and there was
Matco or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I just wondered if you got a calendar with it, so because you busy man, you got to keep up with everything, right?
For scheduling purposes.
For scheduling purpose.
That's right.
But well, first off, we wanted to get into a little bit of some stuff that you've talked about on your radio show, some maybe personal stuff. Have you been ruined from wearing your hat backwards because of last year's backlash of you on Gaben? What's his name? Just went blank.
Teddy,
yeah. Jeez, Gabe and Teddy, you wore your hat.
Just a Buckus Award winner.
Yeah, you had your hat on backwards, and people were like, you were too old. So did you stop wearing it backwards?
Yeah, I do it like 5 times a year. Like, I'm not a hat backwards guy. I'm 48 years old. I wear a hat because I didn't have time to shower that day, or I want to keep the sun out of my eyes. I'm not trying to make any statement. But there's like 4 or 5 times a year, where you just kind of, and I have a feeling some of those this year will be when I'm riding the bad boy mower around.
That's right.
You're just feeling it, It's a hat backwards day, and so that I have no idea why. I had forgotten about that till you brought it up. I can't imagine why I wore a hat backwards to do a podcast. But maybe I was just trying to be as cool as Gabe and Teddy.
Yeah.
I'm significantly older than those guys, so maybe that was an effort to try to match their cool level. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, see, I sent the picture of me riding the little unicorn with my hat backwards. You remember that? I tweeted it to you.
Just FYI, Toby, he's an old guy.
Yeah, you were on the radio, and I sent it. You were doing your show, and I tweeted it. Is that you can wear your hat backwards and ride a unicorn if you want, because we were at the fair.
That. Yeah, I remember. That.
I'm a hat backwards guy, and I have been my whole life. But it was because
you could pull it off. I've seen you before. You look good in a hat backwards.
Yeah, I played catcher.
Don't tease him.
In Little League, Toby. And catchers. We back in our day. Me and Rob were actually just talking about it before the podcast. We got a baseball game on here, and all the gear that batters and wear now. When I played baseball, the catchers didn't even have the helmets. We just had that, elastic strap,
and that tells you how old it is.
that went around. So you wore your hat backwards. So
of course, yeah.
That's how. Yeah. But I tend.
You could pull it off. You look good with a hat on.
Yeah, and
I can't. I'm not.
You're not a hat guy, though. I haven't seen you very often with a hat at all, I don't think.
Well, yeah. I mean, summertime, you'll find, definitely I am. I just, I kind of try to clean myself up a little bit if I'm going to be out in public. So, but yeah, you find me in the summertime around the house wearing a hat a little bit.
And on the golf course?
Like, you go golfing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you might want to share with everybody, you now are on Cameo.
How about that?
Have
you guys requested a video yet?
We can.
I just found out about it today.
Yeah.
What?
It just now hit, didn't it?
I've been, I just posted it today. I've been contemplating this for months. They reached out maybe 9 months ago. It's been a long time. And, I don't know. I put it off, and this might be a massive mistake. Like, I may wake up tomorrow morning and regret this. But I've received a few requests lately of things like, like yesterday, for example, a guy wanted me to introduce he's the best man at his brother's wedding. And he wanted me to record a video of introducing them for the first time at their wedding reception. And he's a big Sooner fan, obviously.
Yeah.
And, you'd be surprised how many of those things come along either for school or for whatever. And I was like, maybe I should try this Cameo thing and just see if it gets any reaction. So we'll see how it goes. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not very comfortable with putting something like this out there and say, hey, pay me.
Yeah.
I know that I don't want to look greedy or anything like that. But at the same time, if it's a way for somebody out there to get something that would make an event or something in their life more special, I'm certainly happy to always do that for people.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe this is an opportunity, and 100% of the funds will go to support the payment of my child's college education. So it's that's what it's all going for.
I thought you were going to invest it in our podcast, but that's okay. No,
so it's safe to say,
as hard as I could to make that sound like a charity, but it's not. It's really just that going to pay bills.
Yeah.
Safe to say he's not going to move out west and buy a $17 million mansion.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, not now.
Outstanding.
Which, by the way, Toby, just I have broken the rule twice. But we don't speak that name. It's the former coach.
Okay.
So
Terry, show us on the doll.
I will adhere to the rules of your podcast.
we try. Rob's done well. I will every now and then slip up and drop it, and Rob will jump on me. But we try to refrain from using the name. No Tebow, no Muleshoe. It's just the former coach. What'd you call him earlier, Rob? Baltimore.
Well, you say we don't speak his name, and so it was a Harry Potter reference. That,
yeah.
We don't speak his name, Voldemort.
I see. I don't.
Yeah.
Rob's a Harry Potter.
You got to be a nerd like me, too. Okay.
So, well, let's see. What was some other stuff I wanted? You got your cameo. Well, then let's just jump into the ESPN Plus news that dropped today. Now, okay. I'm assuming when you were talking about on your show today, because Rob and I are both, loyal listeners.
Thank you.
That you were talking about the big news, and we started talking about, there was tattoos and stuff out there. This was what you were referring to instead of a tattoo, correct? Or are you getting an
cameo? Yeah, cameo is what I was referring to. Something that TJ will definitely make fun of me for.
Oh, I thought
there's some news. I did also say there's going to be some news drop later today that you should love, but you're not going to like. And that was the ESPN stuff.
Oh, okay.
Referring to that. Yeah, because TJ is he does not believe in ESPN Plus, which this will really test him because, I don't know. What do you guys think about it before I give you my opinion?
I love it. I think it's, we posted it on our Facebook page and kind of shared it across there. There's a lot of people that don't, and I'm like, I don't know why. Everything, it's $6.99 a month. You get everything else that goes with ESPN Plus. Plus you get, what are we getting? The prior pay-per-view game, the spring game, 25 basketball games. I'm guessing Olympic sport is softball thrown. Is softball considered an Olympic sport? Because they didn't say softball.
Yeah. No, it's everything. That's just a way of saying everything.
Everything.
So, right now at Sooner TV, we broadcast approximately 85 live sporting events a year across all sports.
Right.
And this is going to be up from that. So this is promising over 100. I think the minimum they have to reach the ESPN contract is 100. So you're going to get at least 15 more live events. So, that's everything. It's the one football game a year plus the spring game. As many basketball games as aren't picked up by national providers. They get the first pick, the big ESPNs, the ABC, CBS, all that kind of stuff. So all the basketball games that aren't picked up will go on ESPN Plus. Home games we're talking about, folks. We get the rights to broadcast our home games.
Okay.
Baseball, softball, tennis, volleyball, soccer, track, some golf if they're close enough, if we can pull it off. So everything that we've been doing now is just going to have a new home. And it's going to be in one place. And that's ESPN Plus. That includes our shows. That includes the shows you guys come to on Thursday or Tuesday night, the Huddle and the coaches shows, the Sooner Sports Talk. I cannot tell you how many times in the last 4 or 5 years, whenever the Bally thing took over, I cannot tell you how many times somebody has come up to me and said, hey, what channel is this going to be on? And I say, I have no idea.
Right.
I don't know if it's live. I don't know if it's taped. I don't even know if it's going to be on anywhere, to be honest with you. They just told me to be here tonight and call this game. And that's embarrassing, man.
Right.
It's got to be incredibly frustrating for OU fans. I know it has been. It's been frustrating for me.
Absolutely.
I called a baseball game last weekend, and I recorded it at home because I wanted to come watch the Open to see how the Open sounded because I was going to do 2 straight games. So I wanted to go back and look at the Open with George Frazier to see how it sounded. So if I needed to, I could alter it for the Sunday game. And I got back home after the game, pulled up the DVR, pushed play, nothing. It was like a Dallas Stars game or something like that. And so the Valley Sports thing I know has been incredibly frustrating for everyone. Now it's going to be simple. Everything we do at OU is going to be at one place that isn't picked up by a national broadcaster. We're still going to all of our football games and everything are going to be on the big networks, and a whole bunch of our basketball, and even like tonight's softball game is on big ESPN.
Right.
All that exists. We're talking about everything that falls below that. We're going to televise as much as we possibly can, at least 100 live sporting events every year, and the home for that will be on ESPN Plus. And the fact that the shows were going to be on there too is something different. That doesn't happen right now for like the SEC schools.
Right.
On SEC Plus. They have their games on there and everything, but they don't get to put their coaches' shows on there. They have separate deals with maybe a local Birmingham CBS affiliate or whatever, where their coaches' shows live, or maybe just online. Our coaches' shows and the huddle and the stuff we produce like that, game day shows, are also going to live on ESPN Plus. It's the biggest deal ESPN Plus has ever done.
I feel like it's a great deal for the university.
That's what I was fixing to say. I saw somewhere, I thought that it's the biggest deal ESPN Plus has done, and they've done it with the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Now, I am sensitive to the fact that there is a pay portal here, and even though it's only $7 a month, it's only $7 a month.
Right.
I already had ESPN Plus because
me too.
I am a huge college baseball and basketball fan, and you could find me on any. Tonight I'll watch it. Tonight I'm going to watch OU softball, and there is a SEC baseball game tonight. I think it's Kentucky and Tennessee play tonight, and I love college baseball.
Is the lefty pitching?
It's the Friday night guy, so probably
the 105 mile an hour lefty pitcher there at Tennessee. That's impressive.
I think he's a reliever. So I don't know if he'll get in. They got another. Their ace though is incredible too. Anyway, so I'm a dork like that. I mean, I love when I travel being able to dial up all these other schools around the country and Big 12 games. Like, on the weekend I'll call up the Texas Tech or TCU baseball game and do a little scouting or just watch them.
Yeah.
So I've had ESPN Plus for a long time. I think it's a great value for $7.
Oh yeah.
For me. But I understand some people out there maybe living on fixed income or whatever, and this is not going to be great news for them that they have to pay to watch these extra games. I would just, remind you, we're not talking about all the games. All the games that were going to be on national TV are still going to be on national TV.
Right.
These are the things that would have before fall into Valley Sports, and you probably weren't going to find it anyway. So now at least you knew where to go. You know where to go.
Yeah. Well,
and the pay-per-view's gone.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view's
gone. That's big.
So,
that's big time.
Well,
I think it's a great deal. I'm super excited.
I had a fan. Like I said, I put it on our Facebook page and shared it across the board. somebody came across was because it happens a lot. People streaming the games on Facebook, and one of our we have our group page and then we have our fan page, and somebody on the group page goes, "You guys need to stream the games on here." I'm like, dude, $6.99. You can watch them anywhere on your phone.
I thought that was illegal, to be honest with you.
It is. I'm pretty sure, but it was like it's $6.99. I mean, like you said, I know $6.99's not a lot to me, but
just flaunt it then, Terry.
Yeah.
You got a Circle Drive out there too?
Circle Drive.
I definitely have some of those streaming apps where I see the bill come in every month and I go, I don't know if I need this. This isn't worth.
Yeah.
I'm watching maybe one show a month on that. If everything, I need to probably. For me, that is definitely not the case with ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to toot ESPN's horn. You can think whatever you want about ESPN. The fact of the matter is, it is where we're going conference-wise. This is whenever Oklahoma goes to the SEC, they have the SEC Network and SEC Plus.
Right.
And that's where all of their content lives that isn't on the national networks. So Oklahoma is, in advance of that, adopting the same model. And I'm sure it'll be folded into that in some capacity. I think we're still going to be identified. My understanding is this Sooner Vision on ESPN Plus is still going to be identified separately. I would guess, I have no inside info, this is exactly what Texas is probably going to do with the Longhorn Network eventually. But I think it's a great value for the price. And I'm so happy that when you and Rob come up to me at Rudy's and say, "Hey, where's the game going to be tomorrow night?" I can say with assuredness, it's going to be on ESPN+.
Let's see. Here's the other thing, Rob. Here's the other thing. Do you know what this means?
What?
We're going to be on the ESPN.
Oh.
on Tuesday nights every week when they pan out to the crowd, we're going to be on ESPN.
Well, why wouldn't they want us on there, Terry?
Right. So, that's another thing. Off the side, it just reminded me. Have you been able to secure tickets to the PGA Championship yet, Toby?
No, I'm looking for some for Sunday maybe. We play in Lubbock Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
OU baseball does, not me. OU baseball plays in Lubbock Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I would love to find some tickets for the final round on Sunday and maybe take my dad over there. And my son, Peyton, my middle son, you know my kids.
Right.
He's working the event for CBS. He got a really cool internship kind of a
Fun.
thing with CBS Golf this summer where he's going to help out their broadcasts. So he gets to be over there and like inside the ropes, and I've reached the age where I'm super jealous of my children now and the things they get to do. But for the other of us that aren't going to have the pass that he is, hopefully I can make it over on Sunday. I love golf majors. I'm watching them for sure, but I've been able to attend a few, not a lot, but a few, and it is super, super cool. So you guys going over?
Yep. We have tickets to the Wednesday practice round and the first round.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, and when Tiger found out apparently that we were going to be there, he entered the tournament. It's kind of what we're thinking. So how would you like to be a guy who can fly in to Tulsa, Oklahoma, make a phone call, and they shut down a golf course so you can play it?
It's a nice life. I mean, you know.
Yeah, he's living the dream.
I think there's a lot of things that once you get to a certain level of fame are probably annoying.
Yeah,
but
that's not one
of the greatest perks. No, that wouldn't be.
Yeah, that wouldn't be annoying.
The rest of the time he's out on his yacht.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It was a gift to us from a good friend, and we were like,
what a great gift.
Oh yeah, when they gave it, we were just we couldn't talk. I mean, we were both like,
you're gonna rock the OU gear, right?
Oh yeah, well that's another thing. We'll get into OU golf here. You're pretty good. You're pretty good friends with, or you know, Coach Hibble pretty well, right?
Yeah, sure.
Any chance you could walk by and find out, or pick up a couple of those snazzy hats?
Terry wants his hat.
Their new golf hats, the one with the patch that has the OU cool. times the golf. I'm like, I need that.
Yeah. Do they have them at the Jimmy gift shop?
I haven't been to the Jimmy yet. I've gone everywhere else online.
Well, they're not on Jimmy's website.
They're not. Yeah. So I.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
maybe it's a team issued thing only. They do some of that stuff where they just issue them to the team.
That's what I'm saying.
Different sports.
If they
don't necessarily make them available for. So you're asking me to steal?
No, I'm asking you.
That's what he's doing.
I'm asking you if you saw one laying around and nobody had it claimed. I put on Twitter that we would do shady things for those hats. I mean, we wouldn't do much for a Klondike bar, but we would do some pretty shady things to get one of those hats. I saw that.
Keep my eyes open for you.
Yeah, I just haven't. But I keep thinking I need to go over to the Jimmy and go in there and see if they have those hats in there. But
no time like the present.
And I saw yesterday on the selection show when they had Coach Hibble on, he had one that was a gray. The players wore white ones, and his was gray. So,
but yeah,
he's a
definitely
sharp-dressed man. You remember he rocked that vest last year at Greyhawk, and in 100-degree heat, and that got a lot of grief. But no, I'm excited to hopefully catch a round of the regional too, because they've been playing so far away from us this year, and there hasn't really been an opportunity to watch them in person. So the fact that the regional got moved to Norman is pretty exciting. And man, I beg every year for them to send me out to Greyhawk and let me cover it for Sooner Sports TV and file some reports online or something. But it unfortunately collides with postseason play in the baseball season. So hopefully we'll make postseason this year.
Well, we could do it. We could do it for you if they didn't.
Okay.
Okay.
That's nice of you to volunteer.
Yeah, or if they say, yeah, go ahead and do it, we'll carry your toothbrush.
Why has it got to be his toothbrush?
I don't know.
He takes some things to some unhealthy levels sometimes, Toby. You just got to go, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just saying if you need any help,
Gotcha.
He doesn't want you testing his toothbrush.
Yeah, I didn't say test it. I said carry it, Rob. But you brought that up. Oklahoma, I guess something happened in Tuscaloosa or wherever. Their greens, is what I understand, didn't recover, so Oklahoma was able to pull in this regional.
They got the first option since they're the number one ranked team. And I think OSU wasn't super happy because I think OSU would have got the next chance at it. So,
well,
Jimmy Austin said, yeah, we can get, normally you get like a year and a half to get ready or 2 years to get ready for a regional. And, it takes a lot to run a golf.
Oh, yeah.
All the volunteers and the computer system and the arranging hotels and travel and all that kind of stuff. And so they are going to try to pull it off in about 2 weeks here. This is a pretty big endeavor.
They said the course was already in. Was he on your show or on the grounds?
Yeah, we had Tyler Woodward on.
Yeah, he said that the course was pretty much ready to go. It was, everything was not ready to go, but in really good shape to where they thought they'd be able to pull it. Not only are they number one, but we got the number 1 and number 4 golfer in the country right now, don't we? Chris Gotterup and then Logan
Gotterup. Right.
Logan McAllister is at number 4. So
unbelievable. That's the match play. If they're fortunate enough to make it to match play, that's about as nerve-wracking as it gets for me to watch.
Yeah.
I love match play golf, Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And this NCAA championship match play golf is just edge of your seat stuff, man. I pace when I watch it. So that would be so cool to get to be there in person. We went over to Fayetteville. You guys probably did too, a few years back when the NCAA championships were at Fayetteville. And that was super cool too. So hopefully I can get out to Greyhawk someday. But this team is incredible. You got to like their chances. Golf is finicky. We had a guy that got cold at the end of the year last year, and they still almost won the national championship.
Yeah.
So
Pepperdine, right?
Pepperdine.
Yeah, you got to have your guys peak at the right time, and match play can be tricky, but I think they got a great chance.
Now, didn't McAllister have back-to-back holes in one last year in the championship?
I don't think it was back-to-back. I think he did it twice.
Yeah, but I mean on the same hole the next day. It was the same hole, wasn't it?
That might be it. That might be it.
Yeah, that's what I meant by back-to-back. He got a hole in one day on a par 3, and then the next day got another one. It's kind of how Rob and I play games. We found it easier that way.
It's so much easier when you don't have to putt.
So... But yeah, I don't know. When I saw that they were needing volunteers, that's the first thing I did was like, "Oop, I'm going to volunteer." But then
we're going out of town.
We're going to go to the PGA. So I was, because they put the list of stuff that you could volunteer for: ball spotters,
sign holders.
Yeah,
I'd have been all over that.
Yeah. So. But no,
I want to be the starter. I'm always begging them to be.
I heard that. Have they said yay or nay yet? Or
I don't. No, they have not gotten back to me. I think that I've been begging for about a decade now, and they've never gotten back to me. So I don't think they like the idea as much as I like the idea.
Okay. Well, you know what? Just hold out for another 10 years. Yeah. You never know.
Man, they don't even tell you no. They just don't get back with you.
Yeah, they just ghost me.
Rude.
Yeah.
That's
rude.
Mm-hmm.
That's when but that's back in my day when I knew I was in trouble. If I'd asked my dad for something, he would never reply. You're like,
right.
They must not like me. Which I thought it was funny because we're gonna get Plank on to talk softball here in the next week or so, I hope. But when the softball team had their golf tournament and he wasn't invited.
How about that?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
I know. I texted him. Was like, what? He goes, I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, so what's your prediction for Oklahoma golf? You think they're going to pull out of the regional and?
Oh yeah, they'll definitely get to Greyhawk. Again, though, I mean I think they'll make it into match play. I mean, I think they're just too strong.
Yeah. That
they'll finish in the top 8. It would be a major shock if they don't make it to the top 8, which is what you have to do to make it into match play.
Right.
Once you get to match play, there's a lot of luck that's involved. You got to be hot on the right day. You know, it's hard to predict. So I like their chances. I think they're the favorite, and I think they're the favorite for a reason. They've got the best player in the country this year in Goddard. Patrick Welch is capable of being torridly hot sometimes, and that'd be great if he chose to do that week. They're just sound, man. I mean, 1 through 5, they are just rock solid. Really 6, but only 5 guys can be out there.
Well, I definitely was noticing the scores of the Big 12 championship. So we were like 17 under, and I'm guessing at that number, and like TCU was 50 over. We came in first, right, and we were like 17 or 18 under, and then the bottom team was TCU, and they were 50 over.
Why did they even show up?
Terry, I feel like you and I could shoot better than that.
Well, probably, yeah. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe putt-putt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited, and I do. I love watching college golf. I love it when the Golf Channel puts it on. I'll sit and watch whatever college golf game is on during the day.
So I want to ask Toby a softball
okay.
question. So hey, Toby, I have a bet with a good friend of mine about the 3-game series coming up with OSU, and the bet is that she thinks we're going to lose at least one of those games, and so normally I wouldn't take that kind of a bet, but we're dealing.
And she's a Sooner fan, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's Sooner fan, but we're dealing with quite possibly the best softball team ever, and OSU's best player is hurt. So how do you feel like I'm going to fare on that bet?
So just so I understand, you are on the side of betting that this will be a sweep for OU.
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, the other side of that bet, whoever your friend is betting against Patty Gasson.
Right?
Right.
I told her. I tried to tell her.
When she hears this tomorrow, she's going to be so mad.
It may happen. That seems like a fool's wager to me. At any time, I don't know who this person is, so I'm not calling you names. I'm just saying the idea of betting against Patty Gasso in a team that is 45-1. Is that right?
That's right.
45-1.
Correct.
And OSU's good. OSU's really, really good. But I like your side, Rob. I like your side.
Very nice. Now, thank you very much.
Do you think – here's another question, softball question. Do you think Oklahoma's going to run rule them at least one of the games?
At least one of the games?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. See, I thought so too. Because I think it was Georgia they lost to last year. Didn't the game after that they came back and run ruled them the next day? It's like, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, the Big 12 championship's on the line. I think they're going to – I mean – they've only been beating people by run rule, even though everybody says they're kind of in a lull. They're just not really playing up to their standard. But, they win 10-1. Yeah. So
what happens when they play up to their standard? Good God.
Listen, they scored 19 runs last Saturday, and the baseball team scored 22.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Patty probably made them run for getting outscored by the baseball team.
So I got to tell you this, Toby. You might find it comical. So I'm driving during both of those games last week, and so I have it on the baseball game, and there were bases loaded, and they had walked several people in a row, and you were like, oh, and it's 18-1 or whatever it was, and then I would switch over to Plank, and the bases were loaded, and and it was just going, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to both these at the same time, so I'm switching back and forth while the bases are loaded, and we're both up to bat, so it was pretty fun.
That was a good day.
Yeah, I mean that's great, and actually, we just bought a new house last year, and my neighbors are some of the girls softball players.
Just to clarify, he's not talking about me and him when he says we.
Yeah, we. Yeah, okay. I'm talking about me and my wife.
I live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. Well, I just felt like.
But I know those ladies work hard because they are never home. And I get up early. And
that's creepy that you know that, but
I keep trying to tell him.
Well, no,
Terry, stop looking over the fence.
No, it's because I will go out on my front porch or even on my back porch, but most mornings I'll go out and have a cup of coffee, even when it's cold. And there's 4 of them live there, so one of them has to park in the driveway because I have a 3-car garage, and they'll all be pulling out at like 5:36 in the morning, and they're constant.
Okay,
and I've met them.
What are you doing out there with the binoculars?
It's next door, Rob. And I've talked to them. They're all great. I mean, just kind of in passing, but geesh, I mean, and I even said something to them. I was like, "You guys are always gone." And I said, "It's either school or the softball field." And I'm like, "Oof."
Oh, that's why they're number 1.
Yeah, but.
Hey, I just got my first cameo request.
Uh-oh.
As you said that.
Uh-oh.
You're welcome.
No.
It wasn't me. I'm joking.
Thank you. The power of this podcast, man.
But Oklahoma baseball, I'm going to kind of let Rob, for some reason this year, I haven't kept up a whole lot with the baseball as much as I normally do. I do watch the games, which, again, and I listen to them. I have the OU Sooner Sports TV, and I love the fact that I can watch baseball and you're calling the game on it, which is awesome. That's the best of both worlds. Except sometimes I think I have a stroke when it goes on to the commercials and there's no commercials. It just gets quiet in my office. I'm sitting here working, and then it's a quiet, and I'm like, what happened? Where is everything?
Well, for starters, can we just ask Skip to not schedule DBU anymore? We can never beat them in Dallas, ever.
Yeah, I mean, in Dallas is the part, we
right.
beat them in Norman like 4 or 5 straight years now, but not only can we beat them in Dallas, it's like there's some force field around that campus. Like, we just do not play well at all there. And it's a wonderful little stadium and campus, and I love the visiting radio booth, which nobody else cares about but me. But yeah, they don't play those guys well at all. So hopefully they can bounce back this weekend against TCU. I think they are in good shape. All the projections that came out again this week have them in the field. Not comfortably in the field, but not one of the last 4 in either. So in the field, I think they're going to need to finish strong. They've got 10 games to go in the regular season. 6 of those are against TCU and Texas Tech. And then 3 of them are against a West Virginia team who they are tied with in the standings right now. So they're all big. In my mind, they're sitting on 27 wins right now. If they could win half of those remaining 10 games, go 5-5, have 32 wins going into the Big 12 tournament, that would have them at least, depending on where those 5 wins came, have them at least 13-11 in conference play, 2 games above 500. I think they would solidly be in the field, because that would mean they would have gotten some wins over TCU and Tech and West Virginia, and those are going to be valuable victories. Now, I think they can do better than that. I'm just saying, minimum, if they could do that, if they could go 5-5 over these last 10, I think they would be in the field. Now, they still have the Big 12 tournament too, so you don't want to ever go 0-2 in barbecue and then put it in the committee's hands. But also, it is an opportunity for you to get hot and make a final statement too. And they've played well in Arlington this year. So we'll see how that unfolds. But they're in a better spot right now than they've been the last few years. for being able to make it into the tournament. The most recent memory is not a good one. It's that game in Dallas Baptist. But before that, they've been hitting the cover off the ball. I think they had a team batting average over 300 going into that Dallas Baptist game. The lineup is looking as solid as it has all year. They're crazy deep. I mean, they've got some really talented players that are having a hard time getting on the field right now.
It's kind of in the bullpen, right?
Yeah, the problem's been the bullpen.
Yeah.
That's what got them in the finale of that Kansas State game. And that was their best bullpen arm, Trevin Michael.
Yeah.
That let them down. So that's been the problem all year is the bullpen. So hopefully they can get that shored up.
We specifically wanted to ask you a couple of questions about Max Mcguire and then his little brother that's coming up. What are you thinking their future looks like? And do you get to see Mark any at all?
Will we get to see what? I'm sorry.
And do you get to see Mark Mcguire any?
Oh, I've seen Mark. Yeah, he's been at a few games. He's not one to want to like come in the radio booth or anything like that. He usually, I know he was in Arlington and got a suite so he could kind of hide out. He was out on the berm for a series this year with the burn bums out there. And so, yeah, he's been around a few times this year.
Well, I've only got to make it to 3 games, and I haven't seen him, so I didn't know if he was coming or not. But
he likes to stay out of the
little anonymity
as much as possible.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Max has got a really bright future. His brother Mason is a pitcher.
Right.
Max had a stretch of a couple of weeks in the middle of the season where he got hot and was in the lineup every day, and you got a chance to see what he could be. He is a part of a deep outfield situation right now where he's having a hard time finding at bats. And he did get a home run up at Kansas, struck out a couple of times, I think, in that K-State series. But he has just, he's been like a freshman is. If you don't get to play every day, getting used to college pitching is a big step,
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't been able to play every day. His position is first base. His natural position is first base. And it's impossible to take Blake Robertson out of the lineup right now.
Sure.
I mean, he's going to be first team all Big 12 probably. And he's, I think, number 5 in the country in on base percentage. And he's just been killing it. So you either got to DH him or put him at first base. And it's just been, I'm sure, frustrating for him that he's not getting as much playing time as possible. Now, we live in a day and age where everybody's always got to worry about the transfer portal. So I'm sure that's probably why you bring it up. I have no idea if Max is happy or mad or Mark is. I know Mark and Skip are good friends. And I think I've been told the relationship with the Mcguires and Reggie Willits and Skip Johnson and everything is great. And I think, Mason being a pitcher, the younger son, they would love for him to work with Skip. So I think that if I had to guess, I think we'll see both Mcguires here next year. Again, I think Max will be back and he'll be joined by his little brother and he'll have a much larger role, Max will, on next year's team. That would be my guess. But I don't take anything for granted in this day and age, for sure.
No.
Right.
So, speaking of which, let's transition that over into a little bit of football talk. It's not football season, but well, yes, it is. It's always football season in Oklahoma, isn't it?
Season. Yeah.
Now, again, we don't say the name, but when all this happened, when the old coach left, his press conference, Rob and I actually watched it sitting here while we were doing a podcast. He said that he called his people that night and said, after I guess he talked to the team and said, we're going to USC. If you want to come, the plane leaves at 5:00. Did he call you?
I did have a conversation with Lincoln, but not that night.
Okay.
He called me on the way home from the Alamo Bowl. I was headed home with Chris from the Alamo Bowl, and Lincoln reached out, and he reached out, and we had a very nice conversation. I have a little different relationship, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
than the average fan out there. We work together closely. I like the man. We got along great, and I have no animosity toward him, especially since I feel like Oklahoma's in a better place now. I mean, I think this whole turn of events has worked out stupendously for OU. It's been incredible. So I think he did not handle it great. I don't know, exactly that I agree with all the decisions he's made since he got out to USC, as far as the transfer portal and some of our players that have ended up out there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, he did reach out to me. We had a great conversation, and it was just one of appreciation because we worked very closely for several years together. And I told him, thanks for helping me do my job and being cordial, and I wish you the best of luck. And I mean that. I hope that, he finds the happiness that he wants out there. And I hope that Oklahoma wins more ball games and national championships going forward with Brent Venables as their head coach. But yeah, he called me.
Well, I was saying, did he call you that night and offer you a spot on the plane? Because we were gonna go out to LA and maybe do some.
He did not offer me the play-by-play job at USC. No, they've got Pete Arbogast is the play-by-play voice for the Trojans and does an outstanding job. And if he had, I would not have accepted.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, you can take the coaching staff and all this stuff, but when you start messing with our play-by-play guy, the best one in the country, we were gonna draw the line.
And if it makes you feel any better, he didn't call me and Terry either.
Yeah. and matter of fact, he still hasn't called us. So. But
I appreciate you guys looking out for me.
Yeah, but okay, I'm telling you, Toby, I listen to your radio show every morning, and during the season, you have the patience of Job. Okay, with some of your callers, because I could hear it in your voice a couple of times when you got those, and you got guys like me and Rob who are old school. When I say old school, Barry Switz and everything. Calling in saying, if he would do this like Barry used to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm sitting there going, no, he didn't. In my head, I grew up in that time. And I could hear in your voice just like, oh. He's not going to pull, 9 guys out and, of defense and put half the offense in because they're better athletes. It's just, but. Did you feel like, you've watched them the last several years, did you feel like what I think a lot of us, me and Rob included in this, and a lot of fans, something just wasn't right with that football team all year?
Well, yeah, I mean, to the extent where it never clicked like we thought it was going to, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist necessarily. I don't subscribe to the theory that the former coaching staff was out there trying to lose games so they could skip town or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true at all. I do think we had high expectations going into the year, and a lot of the time it just didn't click like we thought it was going to, or like it had in the past, especially offensively.
Right.
We thought Spencer Rattler was going to make a run at a Heisman Trophy, and he was benched. And then even when Caleb came in, everybody was in love with him.
And then Kansas happened.
Struggling mightily at times when they would drop 8 men into coverage or just zone defense. It's not necessarily, rush 3, drop 8. I know that's a popular thing to say now, but he had incredible athleticism, but he had some mighty struggles. So, yeah, I mean, they did go 11-2. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places around the country where they'd be holding a parade, but we were hoping for a national championship season. And from the opening day, when Tulane played them closer than was comfortable, it just didn't seem like it all clicked last year. And sometimes that happens. Maybe it has something to do with who knows? In all sports, sometimes that happens where a team chemistry or a game plan or the talent or injuries or whatever don't click. And you can blame that on whatever makes you feel comfortable. I don't really care. I mean, the fact of the matter is They went 10-2. Bob rode in on a white horse, won the Alamo Bowl, and here we are. Brent Venables is the new man. So, but yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that much of the year, other than kind of the second half of the Texas game, you saw glimpses of greatness. First half of the OSU game was great, but never consistently all year did we see the type of dynamic offense that we had seen in years before.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, and I know I don't subscribe to the, I don't think Rob does either.
I do. Absolutely. I do. Yeah. There's just too many. How does Perrion Winfrey play basically average all year long and then go and show out at the Senior Bowl? That's part of my conspiracy theory right there.
Yeah. I don't know that they were, here's my opinion, and I know it, and people know it. I just don't, I think there was other things going on, not that, hey, because I think any coach is competitive enough. They're not going to,
Yeah, not going to tank a game.
Not going to tank a game, but it just, when it all came about, I felt like he just wasn't there. You know what I mean? He just wasn't engaged like he had always been. And that's just my opinion, but it just seemed like that. I mean, just nothing, like you said, Toby, nothing was, we were supposed to be better defensively. This was the recruiting class with Spencer and all, the five great, all these guys coming in, hey, this is our year. And it just went, whoosh. And I'm not one, and neither is Rob, that we never boo a player. And I thought the stuff that was going on with that was a little bit ridiculous. But that, on the other hand, and I keep telling people, that was the student section. Kids boo kids. I was there. Most of it, yeah, there was twinkles of it coming from the rest, but it was primarily the student section that started all that. But
it's a season that you could make a movie out of.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from the hurricane on the opening game right through Bob passing the visor to Brent on that stage in San Antonio, the twists and turns, it was an exhausting year. It was just exhausting. There was drama every week, and some of it on the field, but some of it during the week. We had the spying incident last year. Remember, with the
students on the building,
the journalism building, and Lincoln missing a press conference, everybody trying to figure out where he is. And it was just the comeback against Texas and the Kansas game.
Yeah.
This benching of Rattler. And it was just an unbelievably dramatic year of Sooner football. And then I have no idea what exactly the truth is to all of that. And again, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that they're starting this year with a bunch of naysayers out there.
Oh, yeah.
I would prefer to kind of have the chip on the shoulder and be doubted than to be preseason number one.
Yeah.
So this is a lot more comfortable feeling for me.
And they definitely are getting – I mean, Cowherd can't say anything nice about Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a clown.
Yeah, that's just clickbait. He knows if he says it, he's going to get everybody from Oklahoma – I just don't.
But we were talking about booing when they booed Spencer. Terry and I are not we're not in that fan base that boos. These are kids, and they're working hard.
I've been at Rudy's when you guys have booed me before.
Well, that's different. No.
We're too scared to boo Teddy. Just FYI. But I think I can remember the fans booing Landry Jones. Do you recall that?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
And what did he do? He's just the all-time passing leader at the University of Oklahoma. People, come on.
Yeah, but they were never happy with Landry. But
I mean this has been said before. That's what makes this place special, and I don't agree with all of it. Some of it can get ugly, but it's also the reason there were 75,000 people at a spring game with no quarterback battle and severe weather in the area because they wanted to stick it to the guys out west.
Yeah.
And they wanted to.
You almost said it.
Told them to be there. I can't tell you how many people I talked to before that game over at Balfour who said, I came from Iowa or I came from Arkansas, or I came from Kansas. And when you ask them why, and they said, because Brent asked us to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, we we have an incredibly passionate fan base.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That is why Oklahoma football is what it is. Now, does it have a downside when, you go 11-2 instead of 13-0 and everybody is up in arms? Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess, but that's also why we're different than other places.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish that we would be like that in some other sports too. Like you go from that into basketball or baseball season. I'm like, man, I wish we had the passion in this sport that we have for football,
Right.
when you come home and you play a big game and it's half full or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should be booing kids and all that kind of stuff, but I am very, very appreciative for the loyalty and passion that the Sooner fan base has, because that's what makes us special.
Yeah. And, we had our tailgate. We put our tailgate up for the spring game. And just like we always do, our tailgate, we have our group of people that we tailgate together, but we also tell people on Twitter, hey, meet here, so you can meet, Tattoo Baker, you can meet Blinken Riley, you can meet, here's where we're all going to be at. And man, we had a ton. I'm from all over.
They come from everywhere.
Arizona, some people there from Georgia.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then Rob went in early, and me and my wife and my oldest son, all of the rest of our family went in, and I said, we'll just wait till a little bit before the game. Toby, at 3:00 sharp, the crowd was still all the way out to our tailgate trying to get in. Yeah. Okay, it was that far, and I just went, I'm not even going to try. I'm going to take a power nap.
By the way, that was TJ's fault.
Oh, TJ's fault. But I mean, it was crazy. I sent a video. Rob was in, and I sent him a video. I was like, dude, this is right now. There was a line going down Jenkins. People were still. It was nuts for a spring game. I didn't understand why people waited to show up at 3:00. It was like,
well, they just couldn't file into the stadium quick enough.
Yeah, but no, these were people still walking up from. I was like, and they would stop, and it's like, geez, I figured it'd be empty by now. Nope, it's been that way since the gate opened up. It was like that. But so you got to spend the Friday before the spring game with the team and Coach Venables, right?
Yeah, it was Thursday, and yes, I mean, this will tell you the difference kind of in the two head coaches. I maybe have explained this to you guys before, and if I have, I apologize, but I'm not one of those play-by-play guys who feels like I need to be at every practice. There are some of my counterparts who that's a big deal to them. They like to be seen and be at all the practices and stuff. There's just no need for me to be there, and I don't want any coach to ever feel like they can't trust me. I've got a radio show. I don't want him to ever feel like he may, so right. But I do like to go to one practice before the season starts, and certainly before the spring game. And the effort there is to identify the new guys. I want to see what the new guys look like, the numbers, the body shapes, all that kind of stuff, so that I can hopefully more quickly identify them when they catch the ball or make a tackle or whatever. It's just for work purposes. So I called Mike Houck, the media relations director, and said, hey, can I swing by a practice this week? Now, in the past, Lincoln has always, former head coach has always obliged and said, yeah, you can come by. We'll give you 30 minutes. And so I had a 30-minute window to kind of do what I needed to do, and then I had to leave. That was not a restriction that Bob put on. That was just a Lincoln thing.
Right.
So I called Mike and said, hey, can I come by practice this week? And he said, I'll get back to you. So he calls me back and said, hey, Brent wants to know if you can be here at 7 a.m. when
put the pads on.
Starts. The team meeting starts that morning, and just stay all day. And you can go to practice. You can be in the coaches' meetings. You can be in some of our recruiting strategy sessions and all that goes into what it's like around here all day. And I was like, yeah, heck yeah, I'll be there. So I took off from the show that day and went and spent all day with them. Well, almost all day. I was there from 7 a.m. to like 3 in the afternoon. And So that's kind of the difference in the approach. It was really cool to watch him coach, to watch him address his team, the interaction, the staff that they've built around them is remarkable.
It's crazy.
What impresses me as much as anything. Thad Turnipseed and that sole mission and the recruiting staff, and it's really amazing how many more people are in the Switzer Center now than there were before. Yeah. And so it was a pretty remarkable day, and I'm very thankful that Brent allowed me to do that. And I'm glad he did, because now we're going out on the road for these caravans, and I have a better feel for, kind of what makes him tick, what it's all about inside that program, not just what press releases say or he says at press conferences. And I think it helps me have a little bit of insight.
Do you think this is his dream job? This is the one he wanted?
Absolutely.
I do too.
I think there were probably, there are a whole bunch of jobs I would have taken.
Yeah.
As, wanting to be a play-by-play guy for a career. But, I could have gone to wherever and been happy. But this is the dream,
Right.
And I think that because I grew up in Mustang and this is my team. Brent didn't grow up in Mustang, but I think his time here was impactful. And I think there are maybe a handful of other jobs that he would have perhaps taken if they had met his demands and whatever. Maybe in Ohio State or maybe Alabama if Saban retired or something like that. But I think Auburn. The one that always was the apple of his eye, because he's so familiar with the people here and the place, is Oklahoma. And not only that, he had a plan, man. I mean, he knew what he wanted it to look like if he decided to be a head coach. He talks about this a lot. He's like, I've been paying attention. But I got a chance to work under Bill Snyder. I paid attention. I got a chance to work under Bob Stoops. I paid attention. I got a chance to work under Dabo Sweeney, and I paid attention. And those are two Hall of Famers and one that will be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he has taken a little of each of them and said, if I get the opportunity to be a head coach someday, this is what I want my program to look like. And he hit the ground running, man. He didn't hit the ground. He made him agree to it on the tarmac in South Carolina before he even left the ground.
Well, he's got us excited, that's for sure.
Yeah, so the guy has not made a misstep since he got off that airplane. Now, sooner or later, he's going to run it when you think he should pass it, or he's going to blitz when you think he shouldn't, or whatever. He's going to lose a game. I mean,
no, he's not.
This is not – well, hopefully not. This is not always going to be sunshine and lollipops. I get that. But, man, you cannot have a better first – what's it been, 6 months, 5 months on the job than this guy has had. It's been really impressive.
Yeah. Well, I saw him on the I watched part of it, or clips of it on the podcast with the president of the university, which everybody has podcasts now.
Imagine that.
And I think he asked him, what did you think when we called? And I think his response was, what took you so long? Kind of it was kind of tongue in cheek, but I don't think it, it had inclinations. You should have done this 4 years ago. That's how I took it. It just like, I've been ready. I've been waiting, and I thought, holy cow, he just told them, that, hey, I've been waiting on this call from you guys.
But everything in its timing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like if it had happened 4 years ago and we hadn't been through the last 4 or 5 years, I'm not sure we would have appreciated him as much as we do now.
Yeah.
That was Beatles-esque when he arrived in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, it was nuts.
It was crazy.
I had people texting me, are you coming out to the Max Westheimer? I'm like, no. I'm sitting at my home. The coach is coming in. It'll be on TV, But yeah, people want to know if I was out there, and Rob, are you out there? And we're like, no, we're kick back here.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Brent was still collecting rings over at Clemson.
Yeah.
It might have been hard to get him back then.
But, yeah, and one of the things I love about, a bunch of us talked about this at the tailgate with people from all over, is like what I love about him is he talks about making them accountable, strong young men, and the soul thing, and da-da-da-da, and oh, by the way, we're going to have a defense that's going to tear your throat out, and violent, and he goes from I love your kids and I'm going to teach them and we're going to turn them in, but on the football field they're going to be violent. Yeah. We're going to hurt people, and I'm like, oh, and like Rob said a couple of weeks ago, it's like plugging into a 220. You're watching him, and all of a sudden, boom, he just goes from that to high gear.
He's got some spirit, no doubt about it.
He and Porter Moser. Now, I've been around Porter more than Brent, as far as since he got back here anyway. I keep waiting for the day where I walk in the gym or the office or whatever, and they look tired. They look lethargic, like all of the rest of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, neither one of them ever seem to have one of those days.
Oh, yeah.
They just wake up, they hop out of bed, and then they race for 20 hours with a smile on their face and all the energy in the world. And then I guess they sleep. I don't know, but they're remarkable in that regard.
Yeah. Man, the Rudy shows, I'm sure, are going to be just
packed out again.
Packed out and wired. I mean, Can you imagine that guy in front of a crowd?
Isn't it going to be great to have the coaches back there again? I mean, it's been 2 years since we've had them there. So,
and the other coach was good with the show and everything, but I mean, when he came over, we were at the one when he came in at Rudy's, and Bob was there and everything. I mean, you could just feel the energy of that guy. I mean, Chris did it. I think you were. I don't remember where you were at.
I was gone that night. Yeah. No, he's much more comfortable in a crowd. I mean, you could tell by the way he handles a microphone.
Yeah.
That he's much more. That was never one of Lincoln's strengths. Like, he would do it, but he wasn't. He didn't love the crowds. He wanted to coach his team, and he would do the obligations of the media. I think he was
uncomfortable.
Honestly, he never said this, but I think he didn't mind at all the whole doing that show via satellite or whatever, and because
he didn't have to.
Everybody coming up to you asking for autographs and all that kind of stuff. Not that he was unfriendly.
Yeah.
He wasn't unfriendly at all. He's just, some people are more introverted than others,
Yeah.
And I think it's just not his comfort zone. Where Brent, and maybe the same could be said about Bob, to be honest with you. I mean, but head coach Bob didn't always love that, where he was thrust into the public domain and had to, glad hand people and all that kind of stuff.
But post Coach
Brent,
Bob?
I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this
We've ran into him several times. It's great. I mean, he'll talk to you like he's known you. He's kind of like Coach Switzer. Coach Switzer's the same way. If you see him somewhere, he'll just talk to you,
Yeah. But Brent loves it. Brent wanted to start the caravans back up. He wants to have the microphone. He wants to do the shows in person. He loves interacting with the public, which is great.
Yeah. And like I said, those are going to be fun. Now, in closing, one thing, we always try to gather pictures together, and this is probably a good thing. You're probably glad to hear that. Do you know it's hard to find a picture of you that's less than 10 years old on the internet, Toby?
Well, that's not true at all. Are you talking about like a headshot?
Yeah, Google yourself and see how it's like. It's all when you everything I found. So I started going through your Twitter stuff, and I came across.
Creeper alert.
I was creeping through your Twitter stuff, trying to find a good picture to put on the promo stuff, and I came across a picture. I've got a good one, by the way, but
is he on the Bad Boy?
No, he's not on the Bad Boy.
You gotta get one on the Bad Boy, I think.
But it was apparently right after the formal coach left, and you put out a tweet, okay? But you had a picture in there of the couple that brought their twins up there named
Lincoln and Riley.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, how upset are those people right now?
Listen, kid, we're changing your name.
Yeah, we're changing your name to Brent Venables. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I thought, man, because there was a lot of people that named their kids Lincoln and Riley. You know, it's kind of like there's a whole bunch of Oklahoma kids in, about 15 years going to graduate named Baker. Because there's a whole bunch of kids named Baker around this town now. So, yeah, I thought, wow, man, what do you do if you named your kids after the coach and the coach does that? Leaves you.
I do always miss headshot day at OU. You're right about that. Like, I got one the first year, and then now I'm never on, I don't have an office on campus.
Yeah.
So I feel like I always find out the week after headshot day that I was like, I missed headshot day again. So they keep using that headshot from my very first year on the job, which I don't look anything like that anymore. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I had to completely. So, yeah, you're probably right. I'll make an effort to get a new headshot for you.
No, but I mean, it's just normally if you Google, say, like if you Google Brent Venables or you even Google Chris Plank, for crying out loud, there's recent pictures. You're just like, he's like 20 years old. I mean, there's News 9 pictures on there. I'm like, I can't find a single picture from this year. So I had to go through your deal. But, that's a good thing, really, that you're not scattered all over.
For a reason.
Yeah. Well, Toby, once again, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to visit with us. And
Terry and I think you guys are the best in the business.
Oh, yeah. You're
absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And
I appreciate that. We're very fortunate to, if you think about it, Chris Plank is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's a national radio superstar, and he's our sideline guy. Teddy Lehman is unbelievable. He's not just a Butkus Award winner, but he is incredible at breaking down complicated football mechanisms in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And Gabe Eichert is hilarious and really, really good at what he does. And so we're really lucky in Kevin Henry and George Frazier and all of the cast of color analysts Chris gets to work with in softball. We're just really fortunate at OU to have a bunch of people who make us, look good.
And in closing, Ken, you have promos on the ref that runs of your conversations with Teddy and in your Teddy voice. But between every time I hear those are the Tobe.
Well, he does this. For those who don't know, one of Teddy's favorite things is to ask us unanswerable questions. Like, he's taken a lot of hits to the head through the years. So his brain works differently than the rest of us, and sometimes it'll come in a car when you're traveling somewhere and you're trying to kill time. But a lot of times it'll come at the most unexpected moments. Like, we could be in the middle of a football game and go to a commercial break, and he'll say, "Hey, Tobe, would you rather have 1,000 paper cuts on your nose, big toe eaten by a bullfrog?" What are you talking about? Answer the question. So he's hilarious like that. I mean, he just constantly is coming up with would you rathers for us. So that guy is a treasure, man. I love Teddy. Think about that. Merv Johnson and Teddy Lehman. How good is that?
Oh.
I mean, those have been my two color analysts at OU in the last 11 years. So we're really, really.
Oh, and like you say, he breaks down the stuff. Me and Rob went up to him at one of the Rudy shows, and a friend of ours, JY, who's been he's a big offensive lineman guy. I think he still does some stuff with James Hill, and really nice guy, funny guy. And he asked me, he when we had him on after we lost to K-State a couple of years ago, and said, we were telling him that Teddy said something about they did stuff that K-State did stuff offensively with their line that nobody else has ever done. I've never seen it before. And JY said, ask him if it was this. So me and Rob went up to him after, at the coach's show and said, you were talking about it on your radio show. And he gets out a piece of paper and starts drawing X's and O's. And he goes, they were pulling guys they would take 2 steps, to the right, but they were going to the left, and then they would come back to, you don't do that. They were doing things that was throwing our linebacker, because that's what your linebackers read. They read the linemen, and he goes, that's why everybody was out of position all day. They were sending our linebackers the wrong way. But but I mean,
one of my favorite things he does is before a game, we'll get to a stadium 4 or 5 hours before kickoff, and he'll pop open the iPad and he'll be studying film of the opponent and things like that. And I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And pretty much every game, at some point, he'll call me over. Hey, Tobe. He'll call me over and he'll show me a play, and he'll say, watch this. And it'll be whatever. It could be a guard tackle puller. It could be a passing play. It could be a particular blitz. And he'll show me why it worked or why it didn't work. And he'll say, now today, I bet they try to counter by doing this. Our coaches have seen this on tape. I bet you'll see him line up like this and do this today. And every game it happens exactly like he predicted. That the reaction.
Does he slap you on the shoulder and pointing at you and going, see?
Yeah, no, yeah. He'll look at me and wink or point or whatever. And he is tremendous. And on top of that, he's just an all-timer of a guy. He'd give you the shirt off his back. Of course, it wouldn't fit me because it's a medium, but he would give you.
And it shouldn't be a medium for him, but that's just.
No, you got to show the muscles off.
Yeah.
Hey, I love being with you guys. Thank you so much. It's super nice of you to have me again.
All right, Toby, we sure appreciate it. We'll do it again, I hope. Well, it's always fun having Toby on, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I admit what I said. He is the best. Him and Plank and all those guys. Steady.
Oklahoma has the best radio crew. And I think, even their TV stuff, it's the radio guys doing they're the best. I mean, there's passion there. And I said, the reason why I asked him if the guy out, the former coach, called him that night, you and I were going to call Scotty, and we were going to make a trip to California if he tried to take Toby.
Yeah.
We'd be...
Well, Scotty's got an arsenal, so he can afford to give us all a gun, and we can just go, and even if it's not loaded, we could just pistol whip him.
Yeah,
I think that's a thing out in L.A. So,
well, there was a guy, I think it was on Chris's show. You may have heard it. He was talking about he just moved from California, but he was out there. He lived in the same community, but in a much lower that he moved into. But it's kind of like. The way he explained it, it's kind of like Brookhaven here in Norman. You live over by Brookhaven, you know what I mean? You don't live in the $30 million mansion part.
Okay.
But there is a nature trail there. And he was walking in the nature trail, and the former coach and his wife and kids come walking, and he's wearing his OU hoodie. And his OU hat, and the former coach is walking, and they're, oh my God, what did he goes? He didn't make eye contact.
Surprised he didn't turn around and take off running.
And we didn't talk any NIL with him. We got all of our NIL stuff out beforehand, so I'm glad we didn't do that.
I don't want to talk about NIL.
So we're going to get somebody on here that knows what's going on, and we'll talk NIL. But I think we're going to go watch the softball game. What do you think, Rob?
I think that sounds like a great idea. Eat some chicken.
That's the podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. Boomer, Rob.
Sooner, Terry.
Hey, hold on. Ho. Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord, Jesus. What you doing, Terry? Ah!